What up, brothers? In tonight's video, I'm going to talk about a subject that has been made popular since the Andrew Tate saga has begun. I guess it's always been around, but he really popularized it. And that is, this open relationship thing. And in particular, should high value men, if you are a high value man, should you be allowed to have multiple girlfriends or multiple wives or multiple sex partners or whatever? And I guess I want to give my perspective on this based on the way that I was raised, my culture, and the people that I associate with, because I think a lot of my viewers relate to the same things that I relate to. So, I want to hit this from a different angle. And, as cool as Andrew Tate is, as much as I enjoy his content, I'll give my perspective, which will be a little bit different. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about is something that you don't hear anybody talk about in the red pill space or, the manosphere in general. And that is, the concept of love, right? Love is kind of left out of the conversation. Red pill is all about hypergamy, which is basically usury, saying women are going to use you for looks, money, and status. Or it's about game, which is like seduction, and that's more related to like sex and sex appeal and stuff, but nobody really covers the topic of love, right? So that's what I'm going to start with. Now, here's where I'm going to go with this. The first thing that you got to understand is men and women fall in love differently, and they stay in love differently. But particularly, they fall in love differently. So a man can fall in love with a woman very quickly. Like, you can meet a woman, you're very attracted to her. She's nice to you. You talk to her a few times and you're already, you're already emotionally invested in her. Like, men fall in love pretty quickly most of the time. Women, on the other hand, it is a process. It can take weeks, it can take months, it can take a long time for a woman to fully fall in love with you. And I think it depends mostly on her upbringing, how difficult of a life she's had, trauma that she's been through in the past, so on and so forth. And this is what's going to dictate the speed that she falls in love with you at. So basically, some women have a bigger guard up than others. Now, the typical process, we'll just say on average, for a woman falling in love with you starts out where, you're attracted to each other at first. It's kind of exciting. You increase the communication. You're seeing each other more and more often. Maybe you're talking on the phone and stuff, and you're going out or whatever. And, for a man, usually you just, you're into it and it's just normal. It's consistent. But when a woman is falling in love with you, it's almost like you hit a block at some point. It's like she has all of these emotions going on inside of her, and you'll often see a time period, could be several months into it, where she'll almost have contempt for you. It's like she hates you all of a sudden, or maybe she gets cold feet. It's like the pullback phase. But it's weird because it's like you look at her and it's like she hates you almost, and you're not quite sure why. But then you get through that stage, and all of a sudden she's like head over heels in love with you, fiercely loyal to you. It's like you've won her over. At least for me, that's the way it's always been. I don't know if people will relate to that or not, but I seem to see this same pattern. throughout my life, every time I've seen a woman fall in love with me, it's been that's kind of how it's went. And here's the thing. When a woman falls in love with you, at that level, when it's real, it's true, it's pure, it wasn't something that was accidental. It wasn't something that was by chance. You put the effort and the time into making it happen, and it happened. Well, now you have a woman that's in love with you and you're in love with her, right? So there's a reason why I explain that before I get into the open relationship conversation. So you just won a woman over. She loves you. It's pure. It's true. It's a real thing. And naturally, when you love somebody, things like trust and loyalty and respect just happen automatically. When you're doing something that you think is going to hurt your partner or anger your partner, you automatically say, I value this person. I value the way they feel and all of that. So I'm not going to disrespect them by doing something that's going to fuck their head up. So let's say you're kind of aware of this, but you say, you know what, I'm a high value man and I want an open relationship. That's what I want. And there's no right or wrong answer here. Like, you can choose to want that life. So let's say you present it to her. You say, look, I love you. I love what we have here, but I like to fuck other women. I really want to be out here fucking other women. Or maybe I want, I just want little flings on the side. I want to have little relationships with people on the side. So I'm going to be committed to you. You're the one that drives the cars, that has my credit card in your purse, that I come home to every night, but I'm going to be out fucking around with other girls. Well, when you present that to a woman that is actually in love with you and you have this pure, good, healthy relationship, which most red pill people probably don't have, but I'm saying if you do have that and you present that to her, I would say probably 80% of the time she's not going to be cool with it. And 20% of the time she'll pretend to be cool with it, but she's still not cool with it. So, anyways, you're going to be presented with forget those percentages. You're going to be presented with a fork in the road. So here's what you can do when you reach this fork in the road. You can either say, I'm just going to put it all on the table. If you're not cool with it, then we're going to have to break up. If you are cool with it, then we're going to do it. Okay, so you have to accept that outcome. But let's be honest. That's not usually how it works. Usually the chick is not going to be cool with it, and you're not going to take either one of those routes. Instead, you're going to take the more abusive route, right? And for whatever reason, like, a lot of people in the red pill community think the abusive route is okay. Like, you should be okay with they're just women. You should be okay with seducing and manipulating them. That's kind of the thought process in the red pill community. But anyways, the route that most people are going to take in this situation is a route of grooming, right? You're going to groom a woman who is not cool with you fucking other women into somehow being okay with you fucking other women by almost trauma bonding her. So your relationship has these high highs where, you love her, you're almost faithful to her, you're treating her very well. And then these low lows where you're out fucking other bitches. So her head is totally fucked because, there's no consistency with you. It's just your own selfish needs. So the relationship that you once had that was pure, true, and it was just a legitimate, respectful, loyal relationship, is now corrupt at the root. It is tainted at the core. The trust is no longer there. It's inconsistent. It's an emotional roller coaster. It's not a healthy relationship anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of women will go through that, because when you're in a toxic relationship with an emotional roller coaster like that, you get trauma bonded into it. It's like a drug addiction. So she'll stay with you and not leave you. But even if it does work out the way that you want it to work out, what happens to your family crest, your family name, when you have a toxic environment at the head of the house? The husband and wife have a toxic marriage. How do the kids fare in that situation? Is that a healthy atmosphere for them to grow up in? It just, to me, the whole thing doesn't make sense. Now, don't get me wrong, when I'm single, I like to mingle. I like hooking up with as many women as possible sometimes. And I hate to say it, I know I try to practice good morals and I try to preach good morals, but I'm a man and I have a lot of options. So sometimes I'll explore those options, but I just think if you make a commitment with somebody, you should, stay true to that commitment. I think that's a sacrifice that you have to make. You have to ask yourself, can I be loyal? And if the answer is no, personally, I think you should not be in a relationship. But again, there's no wrong answer to this. So whatever you choose, it is what it is. And we'll go ahead and cover, I don't want to end this so quickly, so we'll cover the other side of an open relationship. Let's say it's open on the woman's end too, so she can hook up with dudes if she wants to as well. Well, remember how I was talking about the process of what it takes to make a woman fall in love with you? Well, often to get in a woman's pants, you have to go through that process to some degree. You have to win her over. Men are visual. You see a woman that's hot, you want to fuck her, and it's spontaneous, and it's like that. It's exciting that you don't need anything else. You don't need any further stimulation other than she's hot, I want to fuck her. That's it. Women usually need some sort of stimulation. Emotional stimulation, mental stimulation. And in order to get her to where she really wants to have sex with you, you have to get through that barrier. That guard that she has up, you have to get her to let that down. So if it's open on the woman's end, what's usually going to happen is when she gets to a point where she's willing to let another man fuck her, she's probably 99% of the time at a point where she's done with you, because women are loyal to the man that they love the most. Okay, so when she loves you the most, she can be fiercely loyal to you. But when another man is able to get past that barrier, get her to let her guard down, she's starting to develop feelings for him. And, after he fucks her, her loyalty very well might switch over to him. And you see that happen all the time. In my life, I've seen that happen plenty of times. And I've seen, I do see a lot of relationships that go that way, especially on dating apps. Just about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, I had met a girl on Tinder who, real cute, mixed girl, half white and half black. And she was really like the best of both worlds. You know what I mean when I say that? Do you understand what I mean? So, there's certain charming and very attractive characteristics about, like, any kind of woman. There's very attractive characteristics about black women. And I'm not talking about the booty or, the body or anything like that. I'm not even trying to objectify, but there's just something about, the personality of black women that's very attractive. And the same thing can be said about white women, right? It's just, they have their own charming characteristics that are unique to their ethnicity. It is how it is, I hope that makes sense. So a lot of times mixed girls will have the best of both. It's like they have the charming characteristics of both. So anyways, I don't know why I'm going so in depth of trying to explain this girl, but she says she's in a relationship. It's an open relationship. And she's looking to meet a new guy, and her husband's cool with it. And I think maybe he was like wanting to share her or something like that. And I was entertaining the conversation. I wasn't actually really planning on doing it. But, eventually we started talking. And forget how, but somehow I told her, I said I was going to work out or something. She asked where I work out at, and I told her the gym I go to. And like a week later, they have a membership at this gym. And, so I'm seeing them at the gym all the time. And then she starts showing up without him and talking to me, and then, like, it's just getting awkward. And next thing I know, like, I'm not even hitting it yet, but she's already, like, she's sending me messages saying she's divorcing him. So when it's open on the woman's end, she is either openly and intentionally going to find your replacement, or she's accidentally going to fall in love with the other guy and lose her loyalty to you. So it's a very bad decision for you to let that happen. Now again, if you're rich and you're famous, believe it or not, I have coached doctors. I had an NFL football player pay for dating advice from me. And it boggled my mind. I was like, holy shit. You? You need dating advice? What? But there's a lot of high value men out there that struggle. But if you're a high value man and you truly believe that you deserve multiple women, then I'm not going to judge you and tell you that you shouldn't do it. But I just think there's consequences. And I think if you want to keep your relationship pure, trustworthy, honest, loving, and respectful, you have to avoid that. I know some of you are probably going to say, well, that's pretty obvious. That should go without saying. And others, maybe you'll disagree with me. But, I see a lot of this larger than life talk from these, larger than life content creators like Tate. But what about the average people that have regular people morals, regular people ethics? What about us people, I guess that's who I'm speaking for. So that's my opinion on that. Figured I'd cover that topic in tonight's walk. And guys, it's starting to get dark and the camera's not really picking me up too well anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut this one off. But hope this was a entertaining or informative talk. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And it's time for me to bounce and get up on out of here. Peace.
You guys are all doing it incorrectly. Come on, push it. You're not squeezing your erections and feeling like you're supposed to. Come on, push it. All of you. Hell, I still did it like an idiot. Come on, push it, man. Come on, push it. Squeezing your erections like an idiot.